Hey, David with the Wholesaler's Toolbox. So we're doing a video today on estimating rehab costs, and this one's been a hard one for me. This topic. I'm building Wholesaling University, and I'm going down talking about different aspects of wholesaling houses, and this one's been a tough one because, you know, I can tell people how, you know, to go out and get leads, or how to find cash buyers, or how a closing works, or different things. But estimating rehab costs is a skill that you have to learn. And it's, you know, it takes more than just a video to do it. You know, there's other videos on YouTube and on the internet of people, you know, walking through a house and, you know, telling you what this costs and that costs. But every house is going to be different, and every person is going to have a different level of confidence when it comes to doing that. You know, you might have a little bit of knowledge about it, or you could just, you know, have zero knowledge about what costs, you know, are involved in rehabbing a house. When I first got into wholesaling, I'd been in real estate, you know, pretty much my whole adult life. I'd painted houses. I'd helped friends rehab houses. You know, I was in the real estate business, you know, as a real estate agent. I've been in the mortgage business, so I dealt with appraisals and you know, different things. So I had, you know, some kind of, you know, knowledge about it. So when, you know, an investor talked me into rehabbing houses for him, you know, I kind of knew, you know, I kind of had a feel for what it should cost. And, you know, I came up with a quote, and I went in and I said, this is what it's going to cost you. And he said, oh, that's too much. So, you know, we kind of played with it back and forth, but I kind of knew what I was doing, you know. So how, the question is, how do I teach, you know, everybody, you know, going onto the website, going through Wholesaling University, how to do this? And I don't think it can be done in a video. You know, there's a lot of videos out there on, you know, on YouTube and you know, on the internet, and people telling you, oh, this, you know, this costs this and that costs that. But it, you know, it takes more than 10 minutes to learn it, or 30 minutes to learn it. It's a hands-on thing. All right. So, but still leaves us with the problem. How do you go in and estimate what a rehab costs? Okay. When you sell, you know, you go out and you get a property under contract, and you send it over to an investor to, you know, hopefully buy it. Every investor you send it to is going to do a different level of rehab on that house. I mean, you might have some investors that are going to buy it, and they're going to slap a coat of paint on it and replace the toilet and put a tenant in there. Okay. And then you have, you know, other houses where the investor is going to buy it and gut the place and put in, you know, tile and granite and, you know, and all new fixtures and all that. So, you know, it's a lot more involved. So, you know, of course, those two different rehabs are going to cost a lot different. And then you get into, you know, how to calculate the cost of a new roof, you know, driveways, furnace, you know, all the big major components of a house. So instead of doing a video, I've already done a walkthrough video where I show you how to take pictures of a house and, you know, talk to the seller and all those things. So, you know, I don't think it'll help for me to go through and, you know, just, you know, talking generalities about what, you know, one house repair cost will be. So what I did instead is I came up with a super quick rehab estimate sheet. It's a 1-page sheet that will gives you 3 different levels of rehab. So just a light rehab, which again would be, you know, just if a house doesn't need much work, but, you know, you're going to go in and, you know, the investor's going to paint it and, you know, maybe put in carpet, clean it up, you know, have a cleaning company come in and do that. That applies for pretty much, you know, any house, even if it looks like, you know, it's rent ready, it's ready to go, because, you know, once furniture is moved out of a house and all that, I mean, carpet always needs to be cleaned, and, you know, the paint always needs to be freshened up and all that. So you're always going to use at least a light rehab number on there. Okay, so I've got that on the checklist. Or you have the option of just a standard rehab, which is, you know, going to be paint, carpet, replacing some fixtures, maybe updating the plugs and make sure that, it's got the right kind of grounded electrical outlets and those kind of things, some landscaping outside, trim up the bushes, put in some mulch, whatever you do. Just a standard rehab. And then, then we have like a full rehab. All right. So, which is, the house has been, let's say the house has been trashed. All right. It's ripped up. There's some holes in the wall, the cabinets are falling apart. You got to put new cabinets in and all that. So I've got 3 different levels of rehab on there, and you'll use just the square footage of the house times the number for, the dollar amount for the rehab. So you can quickly estimate what's going to cost, for a 1,000 square foot house or a 2,000 square foot house or whatever, and just use the numbers and multiply it by the square footage. Okay. That'll give you a rough estimate. Now, of course, here's the problem you run into there. There's some inner city neighborhoods that, people don't spend hardly anything on rehabbing them. And then you've got, if you're wholesaling, $1 million properties, of course, that's going to be outrageously expensive to rehab. So you have to keep in mind what kind of property you're talking about. And if the numbers aren't exact in your market, change them a little bit. But it's just a general rule of thumb what a rehab will cost. Okay. So I've got the 3 levels of rehabs. And then below that, I have all the major components. Does it need a roof? Okay. If it does, take, the square footage times the number for the roof. Does it need new windows? Does it need furnace? Does it need, furnace and air conditioner? So all those things are listed below that. And you just, select the one that you need for your house and, fill it out and just calculate it, total it out, and it should give you a rehab number that will be good enough to determine what your maximum allowable offer on that property is. Okay. So this isn't by any means, a training course on how to rehab houses. You still need to go out, get your feet wet, learn the business, do all those things. But it's a quick way. In 5 minutes, you can estimate a rehab cost on a house. Okay. It's the easiest way I could come up with to help everybody going through Wholesaling University determine what rehab costs are if you have no experience doing it. Okay. So again, before people start emailing me and all this and saying, it seems to be too high for my neighborhoods, or it seems to be too low or whatever, adjust the numbers if you see it, coming in a little high or low or whatever. But you can still use the sheet to calculate your costs. Okay. So I called it the super quick rehab estimate sheet. I printed one out here, but I'm going to, I'm going to put a link to it below so you can download it. But I'm going to suggest that that's how, if you have no experience, you calculate your rehab costs, just so you know what to offer on the property. Okay. So give me your feedback. Let me know what you think of the sheet, but I hope this helps. And I'll talk to you soon with the next section on Wholesaling University. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.